Please, I need help.
Okay, ma'am. Hello?
Give it up. Not about.
Okay, you're going to have to stop crying for or calm down so I can understand what you're saying. Your name?
Anna.
Dude, these fucking 911 dispatchers are so fucking bad at calming people down. Bro, do these people not have any training? Bro, do these people have no training? Has a submarine been found yet? Dude, you're talking about the guy who murdered the girl in his submarine, cut her into pieces, and then shot her out the billionaire guy. Yeah, that was found. Dude, these dispatchers are so bad. They're so bad at their job. This woman's crying, right? Ma'am, I don't know what crying is. It's useless. Can you speak to me? Ma'am, I will hang up. I cannot help you if you just keep crying. Bro, she might have just have found her kids cut into pieces. Like, holy fuck. Actually, bro, these people need lessons on how to calm people down. That's so bad. That's so bad.
And what did your boyfriend do?
Oh my god, dude. And the way she just speaks. What did your boyfriend do? Complete, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. Listen, people talk if you sound like you're listening. Right? What boyfriend do? What boyfriend do? Well, but did you deserve it though?
He started beating me hard.
Well,
Is he there now?
Yeah, but he's out. I don't know. Listen, he's about to die. He's not breathing. He says, I need you here right now. And
I'm trying to get someone out to you, ma'am. Are there any weapons involved?
No, man.
Okay.
It's just me and him. He just drinks a lot. He just attacked me. And he's about to die. I've been resisting him, and I couldn't find the phone, and somebody called me.
Okay, so is he beating you up or is he about to die?
Yeah, he's beating me up, and
The following never-before-seen footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a light.
So, is he about to die or is he like beating you up? I'm sorry. Sorry. Oh, hold on. Hold on, ma'am. Sorry, I forgot my phone. Yeah. So you said he's about to die? Or is he beating you up? Because he can't do both, right? Is that, I'm sorry, ma'am, is that whale? I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't speak whale. Yo, Jimmy, can I get a Starbucks, please? Love you. Oh, it's just, you know. So, is he dead yet? Yeah, I'm just, yeah. Yeah, I'm just, yeah, what do you need? Do you need the police or do you need the hospital? Yeah? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'll call him. Yeah, don't worry. Oh, he died? Oh, okay, so I'll tell the ambulance to not go anymore. Yo, Jimmy, can you tell the ambulance to not go? He's dead. Yeah, he died. Oh, I'm sorry. He's not dead. Jimmy, cancel that. Let them go. Yeah. Oh, you don't have the Starbucks? Oh. She said what? Amanda! Huh? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. So, so he beat you, and then he almost died. Okay. How hard? Like, bro! What is wrong with these fucking bitches, dog? Like, I can't. I actually can't understand, bro. Swiftly, what's up, baby? What's up? I wasn't. Bro, I'm the greatest streamer on Twitch. Listen, here's the thing, Zerka, Zerka's book beats. I'm not a streamer, bro. That's the difference. I'm an entertainer. That's the difference.
Licensed attorney and former criminal prosecutor, a licensed clinical psychologist, and a former licensed professional counselor.
They want to extract info? Bro, I will get more info out of somebody by acting like myself than these fucking people. I will extract the info quickly. Quickly. Wanna see him? Watch. Ring! Hello? Oh shit, there's a shootout? God, who do you need? The cops? The popo? Oh, you don't like the popo? Why don't you like the popo? Is your husband beating you right now? Is that why you don't like the popo? And he's a police officer? Jimmy! Go! I'm sending shot. You know what? I'm coming over. I'm coming, man. FBI, open up. Pew, 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 pew. That's me, bro. That's me. I don't need info. I already know. As soon as I hear the people's energy, bro, I know what's going on, bro. I'm fucking opening the door. I'm coming in, bro. I'm coming in. Immediately, bro. There's information. Holy shit. Information, bro. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't do anything for you. I need more information. Shut up, bitch.
The Park Lane is a high-rise set of luxury apartments located in Houston, Texas. As officers arrived on the scene, they could hear the sound of a woman weeping within an apartment.
Exactly, bro. The cops show up. It's okay. I already dealt with it. Okay, but since I'm not a trained cop, right, I shot the woman. So now I must tell them, man, I came in. It was a massacre. They were already dead. But why is your gun smoking? Oh, yeah. So I put a new silencer on it, but it's black, so it attracts the light, right? And I took the silencer off, and it started smoking. It's not because I shot it, but then why did we hear gunshots when we were coming in? Oh, okay. Because I do this exercise to try to imagine what happened, right? I make the sounds with my voice. I saw pew, 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 right? That's what I do. It helps me to analyze the situation. But why are you analyzing the situation? This is a cop, right? But why are you analyzing the situation if you're not an investigator? Oh, because I respect you guys so much. I want to be like you guys, you know? So I'm in training. So what do you think happened here, Mr. Officer? Now, here's the thing. The call was fake. I just murdered those people. It was fake. I faked the call. I murdered those people. But now this cop doesn't know that. And he's gonna believe me because now I've raised him up. I raised him up. I told him I wanted to be like him. I told him I respected him. You know? Now he's taking me under his wing. Too easy, bro. Too easy. And now I can fake more murders. Well, I can murder more people, but fake the calls. You gotta think of it, boys. Remember, you always gotta grow. You always wanna expand. Now, does that mean that you're expanding the number of people you killed? Yes. But expansion, growth, that's good. You know? Growth is good. You grow into being a better and bigger serial killer. Let me drink some water, bro. What the fuck? What the fuck? Hold on. Oh my god.
To reveal 44-year-old Anna Trujillo. As the doorway's foyer faced a wall, the officer didn't have an immediate view of what lay inside. However, upon entering, he was greeted by an unforgettable scene. Ahead of him, beyond a set of luggage and suitcases, was an adjoining hallway. Lying in that hallway was the body of a man, the carpet by his head saturated a deep crimson. He didn't appear to be breathing. Cuts, bruises, and other abrasions were evident on his neck, torso, and arms. Yet the most unusual detail may have been the single size 9 blue suede stiletto left shoe resting near his head, adorned with blood and strands of sandy hair. The body matched the description on the man's identification card, revealing that he was 59-year-old Alf Stephen Anderson, a highly skilled research professor and biochemist at the University of Houston's Center for Nuclear Receptors and Cell Signaling. When asked what had happened, Anna seemed dazed, but finally told officers, "He was holding me and wouldn't let go." She claimed they had been arguing, but how had a simple argument reached such a fatal conclusion? Investigators knew there must be more to the story. The responding officers had Anna sit against the wall out of the way as they began to survey the scene. What they discovered there tips the scales of the bizarre, setting this case apart from others while sparking a media sensation. The officers discovered a collage, presumably an homage to the professor from friends and colleagues upon the occasion of his birthday. Ironically, for reasons you'll find out later, near the center of the frame is a page that reads "Shoe Fetish," with an arrow pointing to a picture of a woman's shoe. Other cutouts of women's shoes are prominent, many featuring stiletto heels. In the hallway, within the general area of the body,
I was the murderer, bro. Did you see how I entered the door? Holy shit. I entered it like an actual serial killer. Hold on, let me see.
A men's pair of shoes had been placed against the wall, and next to them was the stiletto's clean twin. Moving to the living room, detectives found a new set of mysteries. On the floor in front of the sofa was a wad of hair, seemingly a match to Stefan. 2 additional clumps rested upon the couch itself. On one end of the sofa was Anna's purse. Within it was an ominous omen. A tarot card book, open to the page describing the card representing death. Stuck to the corner of the book was a sugar packet, possibly corresponding to the white granules sprinkled across the glass coffee table, which was littered with a set of mysterious handwritten notes, one of which was signed Anna.
Bro, they didn't have enough money to buy cocaine, so they sprinkled sugar and pretended it was cocaine. They went...
Reads, "May the shield of truth protect you. May the sword of justice judge. Let the pen be mightier than the sword." Another says, "I ask for you and your spirit and soul to be at peace, your mind calm, your heart pure strength."
Listen, here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you the truth. If you snort sugar, but then act like you were on cocaine, nobody would know. You know? And listen, they always say, if you smile, you'll become happy. So, if you act like you're on cocaine, maybe you do become like you're on cocaine. You know what I mean? If you pretend that that's cocaine, you know how people get drunk with non-alcoholic drinks because they think they're drunk, right? Because they're like, oh shit, I drank 7. Yo, this alcohol is good, right? I drank 7 beer bottles, right? I bet you you can make the same thing happen with sugar.
Detectives cuffed Anna and led her outside to photograph her to create a visual account of evidence, such as her clothing, bloodstains, and any injuries she may have sustained. While she exhibited bruising in places, she didn't complain of any pain or injuries except for her knee. But as this was under her clothing, there was little that investigators could do to explore this issue at that time. When this process was complete, they loaded Anna into a police explorers except for her.
Did she pee herself or something? What is this covering, bro? Why are they covering this? Bro, this is the bigger mystery now. Why are they covering this?
Knee, but as this was under her clothing, there was little that investigators could do to
explore that. Why are you covering that?
This issue at that time. When this process was complete, they loaded Anna into a police cruiser and set off for the station. Detectives had a lot of questions that needed answers. Was this a case of self-defense or cold-blooded murder? As she was the only witness able to provide a first-hand account of the events, they knew that Anna's dazed mind held the knowledge that would prove key to understanding the tragic death of Stefan Anderson. However, they were rendered speechless by the wild and twisted narrative of Anna Trujillo, aka Anna Fox. This is 44-year-old Anna Trujillo, recognized by locals as the host of her own community access television show, and now as a suspect in the death of Stefan Anderson. As she awaits the detectives, she sits in a slouched position with her head down, hands resting between her legs in a protective gesture. She begins to move her legs, which is a release for nervous energy.
Who wouldn't be nervous, though? I'd be nervous.
Here you go, Anna.
I'm traumatized, bro. Somebody just died. And they were beating my ass. Whoa,
Anna barely looks up at the sergeant. This is unusual behavior, as most people make eye contact with people as they enter a room. The sergeant leaves for a short time, returning with Detective Evans to start the interrogation.
All right, Anna. Remember me? I'm Brian Evans with HPD on the side.
The detectives have Anna's chair facing away from the table, so there are no barriers to prevent them from observing her entire body. Nonverbal communication can be very useful, and the absence of any barriers has the benefit of making a suspect feel exposed and ill at ease. The atmosphere is stark, with no distractions, to enhance the feeling of an unwelcome environment. The goal is to...
Also, let's be real. Why would the cops have a room that is soundproof? Because this is a soundproofed room, right? And you would say, I don't know, Minnie. It's probably so that you can hear the recordings better. But that's where you're wrong. That's not why they show you it's soundproof. They show you it's soundproof so that your mind thinks, holy shit, these people are gonna beat my ass. They're gonna beat the truth out of me, and nobody's gonna hear my screams. And that adds pressure onto the fucking killer. You understand? Nobody's gonna hear your screams.
To make the suspect feel uneasy, as it makes them dependent on comforting factors only the interrogator can provide them, such as food, water, cigarettes, and compliments. The interrogator wants as much leverage over the suspect as possible.
What we wanted to do was meet with you in hopes of getting your side of what happened last night there. And we need to try to, for our understanding, if you could and would, explain your relationship to Stefan.
Detective Evans leans forward to meet her at her level. This may be an attempt to appear less intimidating. He asks about her relationship with Stefan to get her talking, but also to establish a baseline for her speech, cadence, tone, body language, and mannerisms, so they...
I bet you, dude. Stefan was the guy who was like the CEO of the show, or he was the one who put on the money for the show, and she was the host. I bet you anything, bro. This guy looks like that type of guy.
They have a basis for comparison 100%. When they reach more
and
sensitive
he's
topics.
56.
We went out.
I bet you he's 56. Or 62. One of the two.
Like me
56.
From the beginning, he was very nice, and he said he liked me, and we started seeing each other, and he asked me to move in, and he asked me to marry him.
In a short span, she has repeated, "He really liked me," twice. It may be important for Anna to make it known that she's well-liked, indicating that she enjoys being the center of attention and may exhibit narcissistic.
Bro, the fucking leaps. The fucking leaps. I have never met a person that says, yeah, I don't want to be well liked. You know? Everybody wants to be well liked, bro. Everybody. And when they don't, they're serial killers. This motherfucker's like, oh, somebody liked you? You must want to be the center of attention. Yeah, I do want to be the center of attention, bro. I do. I'm a streamer.
Trait.
And you know what? You with your fucking, my voice is so deep. And welcome, evil crew, to it's another showing of The Raven. Bitch, you call yourself The Raven, bro. You want to be the center of attention, too, with your fucking fake-ass voice? What the fuck, bro? Are you a serial killer, huh? Huh? Do you learn from these fucking murders, bro? Huh, Raven? Oh, you never been pressed, have you, motherfucker? Yeah, that's right, bro. I press back. I fucking press.
On the other hand, Anna may want to make it known that Stefan really liked her in order to make herself appear innocent, as she's trying to make it sound like there were no issues or hostility.
And the Raven tells you all of these things to appear smart, but it's stupid.
Between them.
He wanted to marry me.
I'm smart, because I can see it.
I think that we should live together first. So he agreed. And so he asked me to move in, and I did. And ever since then, I've been staying with him.
If this is true, it had to be a recent development, as the Park Lane apartment registry only listed Anna as a guest for June 8th and 9th. What this means is that they likely only recently moved in together, or hadn't been living together long, which is why she was still only listed as a guest. This detail could cast some doubt on Anna's claims about the seriousness of their relationship. For the next 30 minutes, Anna talks nonstop about a whole series of relationships in which she paints herself as a hard-working, blind-sided victim who eventually decides to escape the abuse before going into a new relationship and beginning the cycle anew.
He pushed me, he hit me against the wall, and I cried. I begged him. I tried everything. And he
How many guys has she killed?
And he slammed me. I met my boyfriend. And then so he knew the story and everything, and he said he would take care of me. Then he became physical because I wanted to leave, and he's 6'6". You know, what can I do?
She portrays herself quite positively while depicting her partners as being flawed.
I did it all. I was a wife, I had a career, I took care of my girls, in the house I cooked, I did everything, and it just seems like it just wasn't enough.
Incessant talking could be an indicator of personality disorder, or a deliberate attempt to stall detectives from questions about why she's really here. None of this information is relevant to Stefan's death, and it seems Anna has a hard time staying on topic. Nonetheless, this information could help investigators determine whether these men are abusing her, or whether she follows a pattern of asserting potentially false accusations.
It finally clicked in my head when he held me, and he made love to me, and I didn't want to, and he's like, "You're mine, you're everything, you belong to me." And I said, "Yes, of course." And it's like, "I want everything, I want your spirit." And then he whispered in my ear, he goes, "I want your soul."
The detectives have exhibited seemingly unending patience as she goes.
Nah, that's fake, bro. Listen, let's be real, bro. Now, would I ever tell a girl, "I want your soul"? Yeah, I would. But not a girl like her. Nobody's ever told her, bro, that they want her soul. Nobody, bro. Nobody. I mean, have you seen her fucking schmeagle over here? You know what he must have said, bro? He must have said, "My precious." You're my little precious. Fucking schmeagle looking ass.
Through one dramatic story after another, unprompted.
I told you not to move. I went to the Bermuda Triangle. I've done everything for you to love me, and you still don't love me.
I went to the Bermuda.
And I was like,
The officers are acquiring an incredibly detailed baseline of how she chooses to present herself.
What the fuck?
It's interesting that being in the situation that she's in, she would rather talk about past boyfriends than provide any kind of explanation for what happened with Stefan. It's important to note that this interrogation is unlike many others. The main difference is that this isn't a case of who did it, but a question of what really happened between Anna and Stefan that night. For this reason, the majority of the tactics the detectives usually use during interrogations aren't needed, because she wasn't denying killing Stefan. The detectives just wanted her to keep talking, as the more she does, the more they have to use to discredit her. This is why they're so silent and don't ask her many questions.
anyone in my soul? I said, no, like, not my soul. You can have my body or me.
My soul belongs to God, she said. Based. You know what? She didn't kill him, bro. Exonerator.
Hey, or whatever you want. You cannot have my soul. That belongs to God, right? And so I lived with James, and he became my friend.
I knew it.
He took care of me because I was afraid to go. So, you know
I
what, loved
bro?
him as my friend.
And that was up until 2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Coney, 2012.
He cared for me, and he loved me, you know.
So he started to care more.
Yeah, oh, of course, yes.
More than friends.
Yes, yes, yeah. He loved me, took care of me, and
I mean, look at her.
He loved me, and
Why wouldn't you want to be more than friends with her?
Told him that I could not love him because I did not feel anything for him.
Right.
You know, but he was there, and then I didn't want to have sex with him, but after a while, he kept, like, on and on and on and on and on, and then, you know, I gave in after a while, because then I said, well, he's taking care of me or whatever, you know. He's always loved me like that, but I had no love. I couldn't love anyone.
Right.
The friend Anna has been talking about is James Jimmy Wells.
Bro,
Investigators were able to reach out to him to learn more about the relationship.
Anything beyond that dating relationship?
Bro, you would smash the right click onto her if she was a Diablo 4 minion. Let's be honest, bro. You would destroy her. You'd eliminate your foul demon. Die!
Talks of marriage, talks of kids. Okay, I need to clear this up.
Actually, she did become with child at one time. We had a couple times, but we weren't serious. It was just platonic. We were real good friends. But she became with child one time, and but she suffered a miscarriage.
Okay.
She never mentions the pregnancy and subsequent miscarriage that James discussed during his interview, instead moving on to the story of her next relationship and a digression into her experimentations with holistic medicine before returning to the topic at hand.
And Stefan, you know, he was older, beautiful. I like intelligence. He's respectable, and he treated me very good, and he liked my art.
Tyler, you're like 10 minutes behind, bro. We saw the tarot cards 10 fucking minutes ago, and you mention them now? What the fuck, bro? Hello? Is there a delay on my stream? What the fuck, Tyler?
Showed him the beauty of art, the healing, and everything, and that's it.
Okay. Before we go into any depth in talking about Stefan, I want to hear how this relationship developed with you and Stefan.
Yeah, that's it.
Before we do that, though, we have to take care of a formality in order for us to talk about that.
Okay.
Are you willing to talk to us about your relationship with Stefan, how it developed, and how it basically unfolded? How
you asking me if I'm willing to? Are you saying?
Well, we have to go through a formality where I have to read you a statement and make sure that you understand the statement before we can discuss anything about you and Stefan last night and your relationship.
Okay.
Finally, an hour into the interview, Anna gets to the victim. The detective needs to ensure that...
Bro, I'm gonna be real. This guy couldn't do anything to you. My God, he's got no muscle mass. Bro, he's turning into a woman. the later in the years that he gets, bro, he turns more and more into a woman. Come on.
An hour into
This
the
guy can't do
interview,
anything.
Anna gets to the victim. The detective needs to ensure that anything she says in relation to the crime is admissible in court, so he wants to Mirandize her.
Miranda.
The sergeant claims the procedure is just a formality, so as not to alert her to the seriousness of waiving these rights.
Is that something you're willing to do, willing to agree, so that we can continue to have our
Are you
discussion?
saying, do I need an attorney? Are you saying
Well, that's part of that.
he homicide? He died?
Despite his efforts, this declaration sets off warning bells for Anna. Even though they told her from the beginning that they were homicide detectives, Anna acts like she's just now learning that her actions led to his death. The surprise she's trying to convey at this point is likely disingenuous.
Yeah, Stefan is dead, yes.
I was giving him mouth to mouth.
Right, I know.
Her response to the news of Stefan's death is extremely suspicious, as she has a little reaction and even gets a little defensive.
Yeah,
And
that was relayed on the call to 911. The fact that you were performing CPR.
So are you saying?
No, what I'm telling you is that I want to continue talking to you about you and your relationship with Stefan.
Yeah.
I want to know from the very.
Bro, these guys need a lesson from Andy Elliott on how to make sure that they say yes to the Miranda thing. They need a lesson, bro. This guy's like, I wanna, he's talking like a fucking simp, bro. Listen, girls can smell the fear, bro. That's why they call them bitches. Because they got a nose like a dog, alright? Female dog. Dude, you can't... I would like to keep talking to you, because I thought... I thought you looked cute, and, I'm sorry. Bro, this is energy. You gotta be like, hi, listen. This, yeah, I gotta read it to you, but this is gonna benefit you, because now, you know, nobody's gonna think that you murdered him. You did try to give him CPR, you tried to help him. So now we're just gonna have a nice little chat about Stefan and how the things led up to here. You know? But no, instead he's like, do you have an OnlyFans? Because you're really hot, but I'm sorry, I don't mean to say that you're a whore. Oh, I didn't mean to say, thank you. And then he leaves.
Beginning how it
Beta
develops.
energy,
now would be the time for a break if you would like to take a break.
Bro, every time I stop the thing and I cook, people leave. What the fucking imbeciles? They don't want to be entertained, bro. They want to stream it to just fall asleep. And they want to just watch the video and they don't want the streamer to do anything, bro. They don't watch for the streamer. They watch for the video. Go fuck yourself, bitches. I don't want you here. Stupid ass
I
motherfuckers.
actually need to take a break myself. Do you need to go to the bathroom or anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
The interview has now reached the actual interrogation segment, and since Anna is expressing an adverse reaction to the impending Mirandization, the detective calls for a break. He likely wants to give her some time and distance from this negativity.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, those people are dumb.
Okay, it's 10:05.
Okay, let me finish my water. I'm sorry. I'm
Go
exhausted.
right
No
in.
problem. Take your time.
I need some sugar.
Those people are dumb because it turns them into zombies.
Okay,
It
are you
turns the streamer
diabetic?
into zombies. It turns everybody into zombies.
I'm sure you haven't had anything to eat at
In a
all.
while, yeah.
Well, there's some candy bars in there.
You'll watch the video with me, but you also get extra. You get me for extra, bro. It's not like you get a fake friend who you're watching it so that you're not lonely at night, bro. This isn't it. That ain't it. I'm not your friend so that you can watch at night and not be alone like a fucking loser. I am a leader, bro. I am a leader that makes you think, that makes you laugh, that makes you aspire to try to be something else. There's a difference. I give them more, bro. I am trying to give people more. And you know what those people want? They say, no, I don't want more. I want less. I want somebody I can watch this with so that I'm not alone and I don't have to go out there in the world and find a girl or find a boy that will watch these documentaries with me. That's their energy. Loser energy. Loser energy. But the people who stay, they're like, oh my God, no. Yeah, I'm not like them. I go out in the world and I fuck, I penetrate, I happen to life. I happen to life. Life doesn't happen to me or you guys. Those people want life to happen to them. That's their energy. Losers, bro. We don't need them. Get the fuck out of here. Spit on
There's like, oh,
and yes, he's offering candy to her, bro. Not because he's a pedophile, but because she looks like the witch from Hansel and Gretel, you know? And I think that witch, if you gave her candy, she wouldn't kill you, bro.
no cookies, cinnamon rolls. What do you?
Candy bar.
Oh, candy bar.
My thyroid is hyperactive.
Hyper, okay, yeah.
She wants a candy bar. Do you know why? Do you know why she wants a candy bar? Huh? Because she needs something to suck on. Ah. Didn't think of that one, did ya?
Same way, yeah.
So, yeah.
While
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'd get her a candy bar, but I would open it. And if I was gay, I'd shove it up the candy shooter, pull it out, close it, and give it to her. Look, it's got extra peanuts.
waiting for Sergeant Triplett to return, Detective Evans asks a few questions unrelated to Stefan that may provide some more insight into their suspect.
Have you ever been formally diagnosed with any psychological problems or psychiatric problems?
Oh my God.
No.
It's just something that you know that has developed because of abuse that you've sustained in relationships throughout your life?
Yes, I'm a schizo.
Or at least throughout the latter part of the...
Yeah, no, my mom and my sister were concerned, and
what happened to you?
know. So I did have an evaluation done by someone in Waco to put them at peace or whatever, and yeah.
Wait, she just put her family at peace? Did she kill her family too?
No.
Yeah, you know what? I understand why people leave, bro. It's been like an hour. We're only 18 minutes in.
No formal diagnosis.
No.
Okay.
Here, he likely wants to record any potential mental defects or insanity defenses she might allege, or lack thereof, to help build his case. Anna begins to eat the candy as Detective Evans catches his partner up on what he missed. She seems rather unconcerned and at ease sitting there, chewing her food and elaborating on her suspected thyroid issue. But then she says this.
Is there any way I can change my pants or anything? It's making me sick and looking for blood.
This could be another stalling tactic, as it appears Anna is doing everything under her power to keep from talking about Stefan.
We need a cover or something.
And we might be able to get you a cover, like a white Tyvek suit. You know, have you seen those before? They almost look like a lab suit. You know, the clean lab suits, the white. They're made by DuPont. We have those in our upstairs in our CSU offices.
Yeah, it's just.
Would you like for me to try to get you something like that? Okay, let me do this.
She's been sitting in these pants for hours, so it's peculiar that it's just now bothering her, especially since she's been casually chatting and eating candy bars. At times, she was even resting her hands atop the bloodstains with no appearance of disgust.
I think people do that at a certain point because they realize that they're not good enough. Those people don't believe in themselves. They know that Ewu does really good content, so they shut the fuck up because they don't believe that they can add to the content. That's the truth. And they know that if they just re-upload Ewu's videos with them in the corner, they'll get more views and more everything, right? But me, I'm different. I know I can add. I know I can enhance. So I do it because I believe in myself. Unlike those fucking cock-ass streamers that you guys know of. Bro, I'm gonna destroy all these streamers, bro.
While the
They got no
detective gets
idea.
Anna something to cover her pants, let's take a look at what we've learned about her from the interrogation so far. Throughout each of Anna's relationships, there seems to be a common thread. She locates a rescuer who's willing to take care of her, says he's a good man, but when he allegedly suddenly and unexpectedly develops problems, such as instability, abuse, or obsessiveness, she becomes a victim.
He became obsessed with me. He stalked me. He became possessed or something because he was breathing really hard. He just became obsessive, compulsive.
When this happens, she eventually finds the strength to get away into the arms of the next man that rescues her, repeating the cycle.
Like a year and a half later or something, I met my second husband, and when we were married,
He got possessed
became
too.
friends.
Bro, ever think that you're the devil that's possessing them? Have you ever thought that maybe you have evil spirits within you that possesses the men when they fuck you and open up the portal? Have you ever thought about that? Oh no, you haven't, because you're the victim. She's the victim, guys. She's the victim.
With the
She
man.
can't be the devil.
Then I met my boyfriend.
At this point, the former rescuer in her mind becomes her persecutor. This is classic thinking behavior of someone with borderline personality disorder. Although to our knowledge, she's not been diagnosed with it. Left alone in the room with Sergeant Triplett, Anna makes no attempt to speak to him as she has with Detective Evans. She definitely seems to have triangulated which of the two will be her potential rescuer in this situation. The pair sit in silence for a few long minutes before Detective Evans returns.
When?
Okay, I've got a suit coming down for you. Well, you can actually put it on, or you can just drape it over
You didn't think,
your lap.
what, sister, you didn't think I'd call you on your bullshit, boy? Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna lie. Tyler, the kickboard, I haven't uploaded it, but it was good. And MiniDonbeE streamer, Zerkas Bugbeats, I see you, baby. I see you, baby. W name. Yeah, you do, Tyler. It wasn't just that VOD, it was good. It was good. My VOD was good, bro. We were watching sports that only existed in the 2004s. I'm not gonna lie, the show wasn't as good because the people were, bro, I swear to God, those people had a stick up their asshole. They were talking about legality and tax reforms and bullshit like that. Who wants to know about that, bro? Oh my God.
Whatever you want to do.
The investigation comes to a temporary halt as detectives wait for Anna to dress. When the medical examiner's report from the autopsy of Stefan's body came back,
Bro, what the fuck? She killed Dracula? Bro, it's Nosferatu. Look at him. Look at this shit. It's actually Nosferatu. Nosferatu. Bro, are you telling me she didn't just kill... What the fuck, bro? That's him.
the official cause of death was reported to be...
I will press Carantos, bro. I will press Carantos. When he's on Destiny shit, I'm gonna go over that and I'm gonna press him because he sabotaged my ass. He put me on on a show with a bunch of weirdos. Dude, he sabotaged my ass. Actually, the only one who was, well, the only, like, three, Damos,
blunt
Jamili,
force head and
Evil.
facial trauma.
The rest,
The coroner also reported incidents of blunt force trauma to his neck, torso, and extremities, as there were many injuries along the arms and wrists. Needless to say, Stefan's head suffered the most grievous wounds. There were 10 lacerations and additional abrasions and contusions, bringing the tally to 25 separate injuries, not counting those inflicted to the rest of the body. In the interview room, Anna is now dressed, so detectives once again broach the topic of Anna's Miranda rights.
We're not going to blindside you here with anything, okay? We're here to try to understand things. But in order for us to talk to you about certain things, you have to understand your rights, okay? And this is just a formality that we have to go through, okay?
Bro, the cop is so based. This cop is so based. Did you see what he did? He just told the woman that her rights are a formality. True, women's rights are just a formality. True. Hey, bro, get this cop on the shows. Get this cop on the fucking shows. God damn,
all right,
what a
I'm going to read
genius.
these to you one at a time. And then after each statement, I will ask you if you understand them.
The officers continue reading through each, ensuring that she understands.
Look at that. He's treating her like a dumb child. Exactly how you should treat the women. I will ask you if you understand them.
The officers continue reading through each, ensuring that she understands so that there can be no allegations of misconduct.
Why would I speak to you? Or why should I wait?
Well, we can talk to the judge.
Have my attorney present, I suppose, if I need one.
Well, we can help
That's a personal choice. Yeah.
These statements show that Anna is not as out of it as she presented to be at the beginning of the interrogation. The fact that she's considering the risks of speaking to the detectives without an attorney present shows that her thought process is intact. This tells us that the 1 hour of stories and tangents could be a manipulation tactic.
Why would you be stuck?
I suppose because from this point on, whatever I say without counsel, then you guys they can.
That's what you do.
Am I being charged with anything?
No, ma'am. At this time, you are not charged with anything.
When she asks this, she reaches out with her hands, palms facing up, generally a sign that someone is trying to appear open.
So if I suppose that it was going to be more beneficial, or okay. So
Well,
if I agree,
let me explain
I
this.
tell you guys.
You are a very intelligent person, okay?
Yes.
Well, I can ascertain the fact that you're an intelligent person. You're a very articulate person as well.
Anna clearly relishes in the detective's compliment, even in these circumstances, indicating she may be self-absorbed. The detective could potentially
whenever
use flat.
somebody tells me I'm a very intelligent person, I laugh at them, okay? Because they're trying to manipulate me. They're trying to manipulate me. Yo, Minnie, you're very intelligent. Hey, good one. And that's how I let them know that I know that you're trying to manipulate me. And they go, and now I'm in their mind.
Battery is an effective method to appeal to her.
Like this.
We're not here to deceive you in any way.
Thank you.
Okay?
I am. I'm the third detective. I am.
I have been deceived a lot, you know? And
Maybe you want to be deceived.
I want to trust. That's the whole thing.
See?
I do trust.
See? You want to be deceived.
I suppose that this is what it is if I openly talk to you because I did not want him to die. You know? If I be quiet and don't say anything, does that make me seem like I'm guilty or I'm hiding something because I'm not saying anything until my attorney gets here? Or it doesn't make me seem like I have nothing to hide and my innocence and it shouldn't matter who's here or who's not if I open up?
Bro, if I had the money and I had... Boys, I'm already thinking when I'm bigger, bro. I'm already thinking of when I'm bigger. Imagine if I put myself here and pretending to be one of them, turned around, had a bald spot too. and I acted like I was one of them. Bro, that'd be funny as fuck.
You understand? Like
It doesn't do one or the other.
So
It's a choice. It's a right that you have. That's why.
I'm just looking at
That's why we read you the right, so that we make certain that you understand.
Anna claims she didn't want
but
Stefan
she's
to
a woman,
die,
right, boys?
but she's only expressed concern for herself thus far.
Right.
She also seems unable to make decisions about herself, such as this one, without guidance. This can be a sign of dependent personality disorder. Someone suffering from this disorder has a constant need to be in a relationship and seeks out new ones as soon as a previous one ends, constantly needing someone else to take care of them.
I mean, it sounds like 95% of my female friends, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. It sounds like my cousin, my other cousin, my aunt, my other aunt, my friend, my other friend, my friend's girlfriend, my other friend's girlfriend. It sounds like all of them.
However, to our knowledge,
she suffers from just being a woman, bro.
never been
That's
diagnosed with this disorder.
99% of them.
She intertwines her fingers in her lap here, as if trying to appear meek and small.
Would it make you feel better to talk about it or not to talk about it? I mean, psychologically.
oh, of course, to talk about it.
While seemingly an effective technique, the detective's question here is questionable and possibly manipulative, as she's concerned with the legal aspects of speaking with them, and he addresses the emotional benefits instead. For the next 5 minutes, Anna goes off on yet another tangent, revisiting her past to continue painting the picture of herself as a constant victim.
I have been broken mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. That's when I realized
Hold on.
if I don't get up and I don't...
Hold on. What is spiritually? What's the difference between that and physically and mentally and... Yeah?
eat, I'm gonna die.
Finally, the detective speaks and begins to play into her victim mentality with the intention of making her feel like he believes everything she's been telling them. This approach appears to work.
And it took you a while, mentally and physically,
and spiritually,
to get you to a point where you finally said, enough's enough. I've got to get up. I have to do something. I have to start living my life again.
Proud woman of color.
We understand that.
Strong woman. I don't need... I'm gonna die. She's a genius. Well, he didn't say she was intelligent.
So you're saying that you do want to talk to us about last night, Stefan, your relationship with Stefan?
Why they say
you want
Stefan?
to waive your rights in order to talk to us?
She performs self-soothing gestures with her hands, rubbing one atop the other, signs of elevated stress. She likely realizes at this point she can't get around talking about it. The detectives have done an excellent job guiding her to this point, as she was clearly on the fence. Nonetheless, the investigators spend nearly 5 more minutes trying to get a definitive answer to this question.
I will speak to you.
Okay. So you do wish to talk to us. Okay. So you're waiving your rights so that you can talk to us.
Well, I'm not waving towards
With official confirmation, the detectives can now question Anna without representation.
Just start from the beginning of you and Stefan, how the two of you began your relationship. And
well, I was being beaten by my other boyfriend.
Simply, we met at the lobby, and the concierge Sam introduced us. And
my other boyfriend was beating me.
I was interested in him because he's a biochemist. And not because of the work that I've been doing to myself and everything. That's a self-interest. All I did was study, because of the things that I've been through. I was interested in him because of his knowledge and his wisdom. I wanted to write a book or a manual and, do a lot. That was my interest. I am not interested in anyone, like, romantically. I told him that I admire and I was interested in the work that he did, and the reason that I was wanting to see him or, you know, be
Why is she interested in biochemistry, bro? That's a
with him
question.
was because of his work.
Okay.
Anna seems to view some of her relationships based on how the other person can help her.
They befriend me and they're good and they
In a way, doesn't everyone? Right? No, you don't have to put it that way. But we all help each other. Nothing wrong with
and
that.
everything, and then they end up wanting to be romantic with me, and I don't see them that way.
I mean,
I'm too
you
loving.
are like
I'm too.
sex
I
goddess.
care too much, you know.
Sex goddess.
And I don't want to hurt their feelings. And I'm an artist.
The artist.
I'm in love with love. I love to create. I want to create love and beauty and things. And I want to see you as a being. I don't want to see you as a man. And I don't need that type of relationship.
As usual, Anna seems to struggle with staying on topic, choosing instead to talk about herself. She's leaning in toward the detective as she speaks. Often, it's the detective who's the one invading the suspect's space, instead of the other way around. Her body language is conveying a level of closeness and intimacy that is unusual given the circumstances.
My interest in them was not romantic. I always want to work with them.
So you like crystals too? Yes, I like tarot. I like tarot cards too. I am interested in the being, not the man. Interested in the soul, not the penis. So, you're interested in crystal meth. Write it down, boy. She's a drug addict. No, I didn't mean that. I thought you meant crystals. Lock her up, boys. It's over. We gotta, boys. Wrap it up. Boys. She fell on my trap. Hi, Mom. She fell on my trap, bro. She admitted it.
Despite this, she was not only sleeping with all of these men, but often living with them, indicating that she was likely using them. Based on what she says, she may be incapable of love or attachment to people, suggesting that her behaviors align with a person who has antisocial personality disorder with strong narcissistic traits. There's a lot of overlap between narcissism and antisocial personality, but people with just pure narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder.
I'm so above sex, I don't even fuck anymore. But you've been banging 3 men at the same time. Well, it's not fucking, it's dancing with the universe. Okay, bro.
Typically do not commit murder. It's when antisocial personality traits are in the mix that the person often commits more serious violations of the safety and well-being of others.
I told him, I'm like, you know what? I'm very comfortable where I'm at. I said, and if all you want to do is, play around or toy with me or whatever, I'm not interested because I'm very comfortable where I am and I'm happy. I'm comfortable. I do not need to have someone romantically, and if you just want a pastime or something, I'm not your girl. Go find somebody else because what I want is real. I want a real relationship. I want to have a man and I want to go to that man.
Didn't she
Anna's
just say,
losing a lot.
Didn't she just say she didn't want a man and she saw the being? What the fuck?
Of credibility with her stories.
Bro.
First, she states that she has no interest in Stefan, yet when he expresses interest in her, she wants something serious.
And as we started, everything was good. But then he did drink quite a bit. But I didn't think anything of, he's accomplished. He was about to retire. He just wants to live his life, He just,
so he became a drug addict.
It's like, okay. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I said,
you become a drug addict.
From the beginning, I'm like, if I'm going to see you as my husband, then I need for you to do certain things, right?
Right.
I want you to, he's going to start exercising. I never told him that, because he was out of shape, completely out of shape. He was red. He was puffy. He'd been drinking a lot, and then through the course, he also told me that he suffers from depression. He gets very depressed, right? But that took a long time for him to even say that to me.
It is interesting that rather than establishing herself as a battered woman, as with the other relationships, Anna presents herself more as Stefan's caretaker. Nonetheless, the information she provides about his health may be...
Well, it makes sense, right? That instead of her being the battered woman, he was the caretaker. Because if she was the battered woman, then she's the woman who took revenge. But if she's the caretaker, you know, she was being attacked and she was like, I don't know what to do. And once it was on the floor, she went, da, 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 da. And so I had some Khabib level ground and pound.
Important. Since Stefan was older and in poor health, if he did in fact attack her, it may have been possible for her to overpower him. Listing his numerous health issues, Anna tells the investigators that Stefan had an infection in his eyes, as well as an abscess in his back.
So I worked on him, and I found the abscess in his back, and it was huge. And so I broke it.
She broke it? Why?
Through the healing, you know, I did what I did it, and I took all that infection. It was an infection, and it was getting close to his spinal cord already. And that's why he couldn't see, he couldn't hear, and it was already, he was dying. He was dying. In other words, he was...
And she did that instead of a doctor? She's a retard. What the fuck? Bro, an infection getting close to your spinal cord will fuck you up. You need to go to the hospital, man.
Not taking care of himself.
She's not wrong on that one.
I started, you know, taking him out, taking care of him, going out, you know, trying to eat on a regular basis, you know, out, make him walk, you know, get him out of his...
She's talking about him like he's a dog. Feed him, take him out on walks, get him to play with other dogs.
His routine.
Even if true, Anna's detailed descriptions of all these negative features seems inappropriate for a loved one that has just died and begins to reveal more about how she really feels about him. Naturally, Anna's story is just one perspective. Officers want to acquire varied points of view to determine the truth. Since Stefan is unable to speak for himself, they seek out others who knew him and interacted with him to speak to his character, while also learning more about Anna's reputation. One such witness is one of Stefan's closest friends.
In the beginning, I thought it was a perfectly normal relationship. But then both my wife and I started to feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna lie, bro. His wife is locked in the basement. Oh, what the fuck is this art piece? Bro, this guy's a serial killer. What the fuck is this? Also, this wall doesn't go all the way up. What is this house, bro? This is like a half wall. You see this? The space. What is this space for? They're gonna say, well, Mini, it's well, Mini, I designed this house so that the air could circulate perfectly, so that nobody would smell my wife's dead body in the bedroom. Holy shit, man.
Together with her.
You know what I mean?
Be open, be honest. Okay, when you say uncomfortable, explain to me what do you mean by uncomfortable? Did she use bad language? Would she make rude gestures?
I think it was more like...
Is he using Morse code with his eyes? Is he saying torture?
She said strange things.
Okay,
So,
such
for
as?
example, I mean, if there was a bottle of water or a glass of wine or something, she could say, yeah, did you see that fish in there? And we said, no, I don't see any fish.
You don't? Okay.
After this peculiar revelation, the interviewing officer wants to further explore the dynamic between Anna and Stefan.
From my understanding from going through this entire case, everybody has told me that I've interviewed that Stefan always took care of Anna. He paid for everything. He took her everywhere. He did every single thing for her.
Yes.
Is that correct? He was always the guy that paid for everything.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well.
While Anna does acknowledge that Stefan was good to her, she doesn't sound particularly appreciative of this generosity.
He does not drive. He doesn't like to drive. And yet we need things. We run out of things. And my license is expired because I didn't have my residency. So I couldn't get my driver's license until I got my residency. Okay? So I'm stuck. I don't drive. He completely became obsessed with me. He loved me. And he was like, I was his everything. And then I would look up and he would be staring at me. Or I wake up when I was sleeping and I wake up, he would be there like staring at me. Then all of a sudden I would go to sleep and he would wake up.
Staring at me.
And he would wake up like a child. I'm just your baby, just take care of me. I just want you to take care of me. He wake up like an infancy. And I was like, oh, that was weird to me. Because I don't like and I do not want to be with a child. And he was like, come on, ooh, make love. Or he get like, he want to make love and be like that. But he was acting like a little kid. And psychologically it was messing me up. I was like...
In addition to contacting Stefan's friends, investigators went to Park Lane Apartments, Stefan's condominium complex, to learn more about both the victim and their suspect. There they met with the apartment's night concierge, who was present on the night of the murder.
Would you say you know by sight Anna Trujillo or possibly Anna Fox?
Yes, I know her by Anna.
You know her by Anna?
I remember when I first started working here, she came in with him. They were out, I guess over at the park. She said that they were out over at the park. But anyway, she came over and spoke with me. It was real, real nice,
As Florence is familiar with each of them, the officer wants to get her perspective on their personalities to determine if Stefan seems like the type of man who could carry out an assault while also gauging Anna's credibility.
What do you recall, if anything, that stuck out about Mr. Anderson, about his personality or his demeanor or the way that he treated you or other people?
Mr. Anderson was very nice. He was very quiet. He seemed like a real shy type person, real quiet. I mean, he always spoke, was very cordial, and just kept to himself. The thing that stuck out with me about her is she seemed like she was high on something all the time. She was just, I don't know, she just had this, when she would talk, she would kind of be like a slur, but she just seemed like she was high on something. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but her and him just didn't seem like a match to me.
Okay.
It was just odd.
While Florence seems unsure of the root of Anna's slurring, many witnesses, including her friend...
Maybe he was drugging her. And that's why she was seeing him, look at her, right? When he wasn't. Maybe she was being poisoned.
James Wells.
And maybe that explains why she looks so fucking ugly. Jesus Christ, she's hideous.
Stated that she was often highly intoxicated. He, of course, alleged that this was primarily the result of her adaptation to Stefan's lifestyle. Meanwhile, Anna continues to cast aspersions on Stefan's lifestyle and personality.
He wouldn't bathe for a long time. He'd go days without bathing, I was like, you have to bathe. So he started getting better and made him shampoo his hair, started eating, and then I finally had to break down and tell him, let's have tonight. Stefan, I'm not there yet. I feel that you're an older man, and I feel like I'm sleeping with my grandfather. That's not cool. I need for you to get healthy and to get good so I can be attracted to you, so you can be my man. And so I told him, look, I need for you to go to the doctor because, number one, you're waking up. You're either
So I told him, look, I need you to give me these nice little funky numbers on the back of your credit card. Those 3 little funky numbers, that's what I need. And I need you to give me the really fun words that you used to call your dog, your childhood dog. Do you remember your childhood dog? Remember what you used to call him? Yeah. I need what you used to call him. That's what I need from you.
Some drugs, because he would all of a sudden change. Obviously, I think he was using some type of drug, but he didn't want to admit it to me. But I don't know why, because he has a whole pharmacy in his apartment. I don't know. I said, like, you don't have to answer me, but you're either taking some type of drug because you change. I can tell when somebody drinks and they act a certain way.
Propranolol, Envelol. Oh my god, this guy's on everything, dude. How do you Americans do this? Bro.
Completely different. I'm like, you're either on some type of drug.
Look at this. What the fuck?
Completely different. I'm like, you're either on some type of drug, I'm going to tell you, or I'm sorry, but I finally got to the point after a while I was sickened. He was maybe getting dementia or some mental thing was affecting his brain.
Now that she's torn down Stefan's physical traits, Anna attacks his mind as well.
You know, I said, or you're possessed. Because the way you act, you know? And he agreed. Like, yeah, I do feel like I have two horns coming out. I do feel possessed. I feel like I have the devil in me. You know, that's what he said. And I'm like, I take that very serious because that's real.
She may be trying to paint Stefan as a monster to validate her accusation that he attacked her, but her claims seem more and more outlandish.
Socially, he does good. That's when he comes home, that's when he falls apart. But I was there to see it. Nobody else saw it because he's never lived with anyone.
Right.
While this could be true, it may be a preemptive attempt to cover herself in case anyone contradicts all these behavioral issues she alleges about Stefan.
It started to get so bad that I would tell him these things. I told him, you need to go get an assessment to see if you got dementia. Oh, it was like I was a messenger. He hated me for telling him his weaknesses or the things that he would do. He would get angry with me, right? And he hates me. And I'm like, I'm not going to stand here and be, you know, like, I'm trying to help you. And so that's when I went back and I went with my friend James.
Maybe Stefan was angry with Anna about her pointing out his flaws.
I don't know what it is that she said that triggered me into realizing, bro, I could move my PC this way. My bed is over there. That would be the background. And then maybe it wouldn't be so much negative space. And also when I get the lights, it wouldn't look like such of a schizo room. Because this shit looks like, bro, it looks like I'm in the fucking loony house.
Or maybe it was something else. Whatever the reason, police found that in the Park Lane Apartments visitor permissions, Stefan had granted Anna visitation rights 2 different times. And each time he canceled those permissions. However, records showed that she was listed as a guest of the apartment on the nights of June 8th and 9th, 2013.
I mean, Stefan, he was a genuinely nice guy. And
that's Knut's dad, by the way.
I got the impression, but I'm not 100% sure, of course, because I was not up in the apartment, but that he regarded her as his ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
And then the Saturday, Sunday when he was killed, she was supposed to go to Waco. Stefan tried to arrange something with taxi and so on or whatever. And then I got this message on Sunday morning, which was a disaster.
Okay. So even though she was planning on leaving, going to Waco, and he was still, out of goodness' heart, helping her go see her children, she did this anyway.
Yes.
Back in the interrogation room, Anna has changed her tone.
It got too much for me. I care for so much for him.
So much.
You know, and what do? He has no family. Nobody watches after him. Nobody. No, he has nobody. And he would tell me that. Hannah, take care of me. I want you to, you know? And I'm like, I promise I will. You know? And that's how it kind of went. And he's lovely and he's beautiful. And I love him too.
These statements seem to contradict what she said prior about him as well as their relationship.
And then he would do really good. And then I'm like, okay, cool, you know? Me too, I get happy. Okay, we're doing good, you know, you're taking care of yourself. I would have to make sure, you know, he was always eating, and I was always worried about him. You know, and then also when he drinks, he wanted to give me the card and go on shopping sprees, and he bought me, we went shopping one time, and he bought me $4,000 shoes, no, a purse and shoes. Well, he wanted stilettos for $1,500 for stilettos, okay? And then he bought a purse for $4,000.
That's right, the stilettos. Just one of many generous and expensive gifts that she claims Stefan purchased for her.
I did not know how much those things cost until they gave him the bill.
Right.
And then we came home, and I'm like, it to me was a waste of money, because here I am, I can do so much money, you know, and I didn't want to touch, I don't like touching money. I want to do the work, and somebody pays the bill, and right? I don't want to touch money. I don't can handle it. But
physically, you do not.
Yeah.
You do not want to touch it.
Yeah.
What is it about the money you don't like to touch? Because of the thought of where it's been, or who's touched it, or is it?
She touches the money and she starts. She starts asking, "Yo, where's the sugar? Where's the sugar, huh? And here, there's the sugar."
I suppose it was.
The detective may be trying to determine if she experiences obsessive-compulsive disorder here. Between this and his earlier questions about psychological assessment, he seems to be seeking a mental health reason to explain her behavior.
Because of what it represents.
Okay, that's
and what people do to get the money.
That's what I thought.
Okay, yeah, it's a representation. And how people buy people, and they kill, and they do whatever they want just to get that dollar, right? So I'm like, I do not want to be corrupted. I believe in that. I don't want to touch it. So therefore, I do the work. You take care of, you know, the things that I need, and I'm good.
It doesn't make sense how she can want to be taken care of, but not want anyone's money. The two concepts go hand in hand. It's possible that Anna is trying to downplay the importance of money so that the detectives don't think she was using Stefan for financial reasons.
There's a cycle.
Sounds like me, bro.
A history here where you have become involved with people who have become confused because of the relationship. And they may confuse your kindness towards them, the way that you act towards them, for what they want, which sounds and oftentimes is.
Now the detective begins to take a greater role in the interview.
I am pretty open, pretty straightforward, and they agree.
Right.
And I want to be friends. I say I want to be friends.
Right.
I don't know where in their mind, or I want to work together, you know. And I do take care of you, and I love. Yeah, I mean, you're my friend, or if you're my boyfriend, then you're my boyfriend. You know, that's it.
A lot of men look at it and go, yeah, we have things in common now, but down the road, the common thing that's going to bind us is going to be that intimate or that romantic relationship. Is to where you've got a point where, no, it's not going to be that way because I'm not attracted to you that way, but I am attracted to you because of your mind and the things that you do in your life.
Yes. Anyway, so it got to the point he got upset and whatever, and then, you know.
She doesn't live in reality, bro.
He would regress, like I said, and so this word, so point being, and it's good.
I'm sorry. Did he just have a stroke? What just happened there? Okay, so yeah. Okay, so yeah. Okay. So yeah.
So this
fuck. What the fuck just happened there?
So this word, so point being, and it's good. So
have you ever had a dream when you You would do anything you ever wanted to? What the fuck? Bro, I feel like I'm playing CSGO and I'm thinking I'm going forward and then I pull back and then I appear dead. That's what happened to him, bro.
So we're okay.
Look at this. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
So this is we're okay. So pointing, and it's clear. So
She seems confused and
bro, she would be such a good streamer. Holy shit. Holy shit. She would be one of the most effective streamers rhetorically.
lost as she tries to pick up her story again, repeating herself quite a bit. The detectives provide a summary of where she was at, up to the point where Anna had returned to staying with James.
I'm the detective. Oh yeah, so you were on the okay. So the okay, the yes. So yes, you were on the pan. Okay, yes, and then she picks it up. Okay, so fucking bro, it's a mind virus. Holy shit.
She picks up the story once more.
I mean, I went back with my friend and then James, yeah, because we were just across the street, so I felt safe there and everything. I guess one of his friends staying with him, and he has a little girl.
Ms. Trujillo know about Shonda? Is that her name?
Yes, all of us are friends.
Okay, you're all friends.
Yes, Shonda lives with me. Like,
okay,
we are roommates, and her kids live with me.
Are y'all in an intimate relationship, or
yes, we're
you and Shonda are in a dating relationship or intimate relationship?
This is how she ended up being back at my house because she hadn't been staying with me. She had been staying with him, but out of nowhere, one night in January, she just showed up. She was drunk with a lady from KCOH, the radio station. She dropped off. She was like, "Hey, I was just making sure." She told me to bring her over here, and at that time, I guess she wouldn't confide in me because I'm a man or whatever, but she told Shonda later on that night that she had gotten in a fight with him, and that's why she just showed up at our house.
James paints a different picture of Anna's arrival, far less amicable with Stefan than she describes in her version of events. That night, Anna got into a physical altercation with James's girlfriend, Chanda. Anna claims that Chanda pushed her first and knocked her down before she began hitting her. She tells detectives that they made up and apologized, but Chanda still went behind her back and threw out all of her things. Her fight with Chanda demonstrates a propensity toward violence, and it is not an isolated incident.
By the way, right? Shonda didn't take any shit for this. Cause this woman's a fucking schizo. Right? Looking hot today, looking hot every day, motherfucker.
This particular day I picked her up, I noticed that she was something was wrong. So she asked me to order her a drink. I bought her wine. I got me something to eat. Then we were about to leave, but we stand at the bar, and I kind of asked her, I was like, "Are you drunk?" Because she was kind of acting kind of weird and woozy, but I couldn't play if something was wrong with her or if she was actually drunk because I hadn't been there before.
How would you describe weird?
She was just like kind of mumbling to herself. And I'm like, "Are you?" And then she was kind of like laughing and giggling. And I'm like, "Are you drunk?" You know, to the point, "Are you drunk?" You know. But I never thought anything of it. She drank her wine. We left. I took her home. When I got home, we were sitting in my room, and I'm sitting in my recliner chair watching TV, and she comes over as if she's going to kiss me, and she leans down and she bites me on my head, like violently, and like where it pulls the skin away from my head. So at that time, I told her,
she possessed, she a demon.
You know, I know you have to leave my house because there's a 9-year-old here. She's a little girl. I don't want her. Your drinking has become a problem. So I don't want that kind of example for her to be here. So I asked her if she has to leave my house.
With nowhere else to go, Anna appeals to Stefan for help, just days before he would meet his end on the wrong side of an expensive stiletto. Unfortunately, this isn't even the first time that Anna resorted to biting someone while drinking. This time, the victim of her assault was Stefan himself while they were dining at Bodega's taco shop. The couple were regular.
Hold on. Have I ever bit somebody when drinking? Yeah. Have I ever been bitten by somebody when we were drinking? Yeah, but it was great.
There, and police questioned Herbert Vargas Diaz, the
give me her phone, bro.
Manager. He explained that some customers told him that Anna had gotten into an argument with Stefan during one of their visits and had bitten him on the face. While he admits he didn't see the actual assault take place, he did get ice for the
I
wound.
didn't bite anybody
Incidentally,
on
the
face,
customers in
bro.
question were a couple that Anna and Stefan were dining with, which included his good friend Anders.
She just
Not on the
arrived,
face,
as I
bro.
recall it, from nowhere and was
Nah,
extremely
not my ass
aggressive
either,
and
bro.
bite him in his cheek. So there was, I mean, really a bite mark in the cheek on the right side. And then she just disappeared and left her bag with a computer and everything.
One, do you know why? Did you hear Anna make any remarks to him before she bit him?
No.
And number two, did Mr. Anderson say why she might have bit him after the incident? No, nothing at all.
No.
Was he?
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the only thing I know is that Stefan and I, we left her bag at the Bodegas restaurant to the bartender and walked away.
Okay.
And went to other place, and Stefan was crying.
Okay. But he was
Autism.
Emotionally extremely touched by
Okay.
the whole thing.
because of the experience. Not that he was actually injured, but the emotion of it.
Nor is this the first time that Stefan allegedly suffered
Do I
physically at
actually
Anna's
have
hands
autism?
in a very
Prods, do you really have to ask? Prods, do you really have to ask if I have autism? What the fuck?
literal sense on another occasion.
What was that? She was trying to strangle
I'm autistic.
him.
She was trying to strangle him?
Yes, and he said to me, she is so extremely strong.
Okay.
Outside of physical altercations, investigators learned about other incidents involving unusual behavior from Anna. Lil Brown, the manager of Stefan's condominium complex, provided an incident report which contained several reported situations and
Lil Brown is his name? Bro, come on. He's still an aspiring artist at 63? He walks up like, yo, do you want to hit my mixtape? With a fucking cane, bro. He comes in with the cane. Yo, do you guys want to hit my mixtape? What the fuck?
condominium complex, provided an incident report which contained several reported situations involving Anna Fox. The most significant was that on October 27th, 2012.
When I'm 60 years old, bro, I want to be that guy telling my grandchildren, yo, you should follow my stream. follow my stream.
While extremely intoxicated, she reportedly sliced the hose on the back of Stefan's refrigerator. Anders remembers his friend telling him about the incident.
The first thing I heard about was that she had pulled out the refrigerator from the wall and tried with a scissor to cut the water supply to the refrigerator. And Stefan woke up and said, what are you doing? Yeah, there's an entity in there.
Anna's behavior suggests that she may have significant issues with impulsivity. Thinking there was an entity in the fridge could suggest that she may have been suffering from some paranoid ideation. Both of these symptoms can be present in someone with borderline personality disorder. Nighttime concierge Florence McLean was also present at the time.
She had cut
the
back.
This is for if there's any girls out there. Inky's been watching my stream the couple of days. Yo, Inky, this one's for you. She's look at that. She's a little
water thing on the
I'm telling you, bro, I'm autistic.
refrigerator, and we had to call maintenance to come and fix it because water was going everywhere. She said it was making a lot of noise, and so she cut the line with a knife. So it was like, it's like, why would she do something like that? But,
it made noise,
you
bro.
know, Mr. Anderson was just real quiet about it when Sam went up there to check on it. He just told me, he said, I told Mr. Anderson, why in the world would she do that? And
it made
he said,
noise,
he
bro.
don't know. She just went over and cut the wire.
However, as the incident drew to a close,
it's
the
pretty
concierge
obvious.
on morning duty made a prophetic statement. I advise Mr. Anderson to take the incident with this lady very serious, or the situation could escalate into something major down the road.
A lot of people had warned him, even one of the other concierges that work here, Sam, he had even told him, you know, Mr. Anderson, you need to get away from that lady. She's crazy. She's very aggressive.
The report also featured complaints about Anna's behavior from others on the property. A manager on site from another company also commented on her unusual behavior toward his workers, observing that she was pretty weird. In light of these recurring issues, manager Lil Brown approached Stefan directly. He defended Anna as a friendly person.
But you can't be a manager of a fucking department complex and be named Lil Brown, bro. I'm sorry, it's not allowed. That's just not gonna happen.
Person who he was
That
helping
just
out
can't
temporarily, but agreed to discuss the incidents with her. Nonetheless, she'd been staying with him a month at that point, and the hotel staff wanted clarification. Manager Lil Brown made a special note to keep an eye on Anna Fox. Investigators continued to learn about more examples of Anna's negative behavior. Describing the previous incidents reminded Anders of another situation that Stefan had to...
That is his fucking name. Bro, his name is Lil Brown. What the fuck? What a great name.
endure.
She took his car, was driving around somewhere, and it was destroyed, and he had to repair it for quite a lot of money.
After learning of these events, the investigator has a few relevant questions for Anders.
Did he ever say he was in fear for his life or anything like that?
No.
No, and he just, even though these incidents happened, he still stayed with her. And
right.
Did he ever tell you that he loved her or anything like that?
Yeah, he did that in the beginning, definitely. And he was very happy meeting her. But then, after this incident at Bodegas, when she bit him in the cheek, my wife and I said, we are not going to meet when you were together with her, because we feel afraid.
Yes, sir.
So, but then, I don't know. I got the impression not long time before he was actually murdered that he felt threatened by her. Because he called me and asked for something, talking about something, and then he said to me several times, I have to stop, she's coming.
Okay. This doesn't sound like the same Anna that she herself is describing back in the interview room.
And believe me, I try to keep the peace, you know?
Bro, I bet you anything, bro. When this woman comes into the bedroom, she comes in like this. I bet you anything, bro. I bet you anything. She's an actual demon.
We got into a fight yesterday. She hit me. Look, I still have the bruises with the stick. She kept a stick. She hit me with the notebook.
I could hit myself.
And then James got in it too, you know, and by then, you know, I was like, I calmed down or whatever, but then, you know, I was talking to him and he said that, oh, by the way, so-and-so's coming. What, you know, I was talking to him and I turned and I hit him with my teeth on his head because we were sitting together. And I turned and at the same time he looked at him and so I hit him with my teeth on his forehead. Then he became angry. He thought I did it on purpose and I didn't.
This explanation of the injury to James's head is not only peculiar, but deviates from his version of the story, especially since she's implying the situation was entirely accidental. According to a police statement, Chanda claimed that Anna started the fight and showed the officer her defensive wounds. Anna went to the hospital for her injuries, but the officer didn't file charges because he wasn't sure who was to blame.
Bro, there's no way. If you hit yourself with somebody's forehead, right, your teeth take more damage. Your teeth take way more, like, I'm trying to... Bro, if I headbutt somebody's teeth, the teeth get destroyed. My head is going to be pretty much okay. I go, bang. They got no teeth anymore.
When that happened, of course, I called Stefan, and then, you know, I've been staying with Stefan. Yeah, I've been staying with Stefan, and Stefan, because Stefan and I were, you know...
Her open hands spread out in front of her is known as the...
It's funny how she says, Stefan and I were, you know, but she doesn't actually explain what they were. She doesn't even say if it was romantic anymore, or if they were banging or anything. She's like... and then she says one thing, and then she says the other, and then she says, you know, well, no, I don't know. I don't know if it's this one or that one, bro. I don't know. Explain.
Derogatory display. This body language usually indicates that the person wants the other person to believe what they're saying. It is a low confidence position, so it can be a red flag if the person is stating a fact, while their palms are open like this. Truthful individuals usually don't need to ask or plead that someone buys their story.
We're doing good, and he's better, and you know he's bathing. His skin is not, you know, he's looking better. He feels good. Now he's spiritual. He's spiritual. He believes. He likes it. He says he was inspired, and he said that he didn't think he could love again, but I brought love again into his life, so he's very grateful.
Notably, Anna begins to describe her relationship with Stefan as idyllic in the days in which the murder took place. It's common for people who are guilty of wrongdoing to lie or exaggerate about having a good relationship with the victim before the crime in an attempt to remove the motive for intentional harm. In her case, it also sets up the common pattern of a sudden and unexpected victimization.
And then, of course, James is devastated, and he keeps calling me back to go back, that he will forgive him, and, you know, and forgive him, and he's sorry that he loves me, he never meant to hurt me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I finally went and got my things.
In her story, James is constantly calling her and begging her to come back, which is vastly different from what he said. He does say that he eventually heard from Anna again, however, regarding her belongings. Anna now directs the narration to the events of that night, the last before Stefan's death.
We went to 1550, and, you know, we were drinking, everything was good.
So you and Stefan went out?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
What's 1550?
It's a club
Okay.
on Alameda.
Okay.
We go there, we eat. That's what we do. We eat, and, you know, it's very nice. Everybody.
Last night.
Yes,
Okay.
we went, we ate, and, you know, we were celebrating, we were having a nice time, you know.
Celebrating what? Celebrating what?
And
the eve of
it was
his
good,
death?
and
Anna noticeably gets tripped up when discussing the evening at the club. Any change in speech patterns and demeanor compared to a suspect's well-established baseline is something in which detectives will note.
it was good, and people were talking to me, and, you know, it's okay, you know, and he got kind of serious. I said, what's wrong? He's like, no, nothing. I'm like, you changed, right? And, like, people come over here, and, like, he started to kind of get, like, you know, like, real kind of possessive and kind of bringing me in, like, you know, and I was like,
the people you were talking to, were they
in the club right
in
there.
your group that you were with?
No, it was just me and him we went.
Okay.
We were sitting
So
at the bar.
Essentially, they were strangers.
Yeah,
So
you
he's
know.
getting jealous you're talking to strangers.
For us.
Yeah, but he was right
just
there.
come over and talk
He
to
was
you?
right there with me.
As the atmosphere begins to change, Anna once more indicates that Stefan is the source of discontent.
And then somebody ordered like a drink. I think it was like a gin, and they put cranberry. And I'm like, Bombay and cranberry. I'm like, and I heard him. I'm like, I said, what was the drink? He goes, did you put cranberry and, you know, and gin? It's like, yeah. He goes, it's really good. And I said, oh, okay. He goes, if you don't mind. He goes, here. He didn't tell me, but he ordered a drink for me too. And he said, here, if it's okay. He asked him, if it's okay, you know, I want to try it. And so he got me a drink. But then that, I felt he didn't like it. He got, I guess, got jealous. And so we finished drinking and everything, you know. We kept drinking, and we were fine. He was okay. Well, okay, so we go home, and everything's good.
Despite Anna's explanation of Stefan's seriousness and jealousy issues, she claims that everything was fine and good, implying they left and went home without incident. However, investigators learned that she'd skipped a few key elements in her story that took place in between. Stefan had called a cab when he was ready to leave the 5015 bar, and it arrived at 1:45 a.m. Rosemary Gomez was the official cab driver.
And she wasn't
We had noticed during surveillance images that they had been, this couple, man and woman, had been dropped off at the location by a yellow cab. And you were the driver of that yellow cab that night?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is actually untrue. Investigators later learned that she was, in fact, the passenger. She was actually in the passenger seat, running the meter and GPS. The actual driver was her common-law husband, Reagan Cannon. She claimed that she occasionally brought her husband along so she would feel safer driving at night, and she was afraid that if her company learned that he was actually driving at the time, she would lose her job.
When I pulled up, a male came out, and an older gentleman, white-haired, and I asked him, I said, is your name? His name was Esteban.
You know what? He's got a good husband.
Anyway, I forget his name.
Stefan Anderson?
Mr. Anderson, that's correct. Because it's on the meter, his name prints out. So I asked him, are you Mr. Esteban? And he said, yes. And he said, I said, did you call for a cab? And he says, yes. And he said, can you wait just a minute? I have a friend going with me. And I said, yes, sir.
Throughout her explanation, she refers to herself as the driver, leaving her husband out of the narrative completely.
So then he comes back because he was having trouble getting her in the, to come. So that's what I figured because he kept talking to her and telling her to come on. Then he comes back and he said, my friend is going to go with me. And I said, are you sure? And he said, yeah. He said, just please give me a minute. Can you wait? I said, yes, sir. So then he goes back again and then he comes back. And then I said, Mr. Esteban, are you going to take this taxi? And he said, yeah, turn the, he said, if you have to turn the meter on. And I said, okay. So he said, just a minute, my friend is coming. So that when, the door's open the whole time. So I'm watching him to make sure he's going to get in the cabin, who's coming with him. So when I turn, the third time, he's going back to the same lady. And I can't hear exactly what he says, but all I heard was the lady scream. The lady said, go get a cab, real loud like that. I mean, I could hear it plain and clear. She said, go get the cab.
Later, detectives were able to get in touch with Reagan Cannon to hear his side of the story as well.
So that girl, Anna, when she got in the cab, what'd she say to you?
What did she say to me?
Yeah, was she cussing you or was she cussing Rosemary?
She was cussing the man.
Oh, she was cussing?
Well, she was just cussing in general, just being a butthead. Well, at first, whenever we stopped at the bar to pick him up, he came out, he asked us to hold on, that he needed to get his friend. And he went to the door, and she was standing right in the doorway. It was a side entrance, and she was standing right in the doorway talking to another man. And he walked up to the doorway to her and asked her to come get in the cab, told her he had a cab. She starts hollering at him, telling him to go get a cab. And he's telling her, I've got a cab in the parking lot.
If there was any doubt, all reports indicate that Anna was highly intoxicated.
And I'm like, man, she would find her another cab. Sitting there, I would have got in the cab and said, lady, however you get home the best way you can, because I'm out of here.
The next thing I know, he's walking with her, helping her because she's having, trouble walking. And he's holding her hand and he brings her. The door's open on the back door on the passenger side. So he comes around to my side, the driver's side, and opens the door and gets her in. She gets in and sits down, and then as soon as she sits down, he goes around and comes in and gets in and shuts the door. And I said, where are you going? And it showed on the meter. I said, is this the address? He said, yes. Right away when he said yes, the lady proceeds to tell me how to go and how to drive. She said, we're going to so-and-so address, and you good up here. And she said something, and I said, ma'am, I got this. I'm going to put it in the GPS and we'll follow. She said, I'm telling you how to go, and this is the way you're going to go.
And she starts telling directions, and he's trying to give directions too, and she's telling him to shut up, that he doesn't know what he's talking about and this and that.
So as we're going along, she's trying to tell me how to drive and how to get there. She's still going on cussing and stuff, and I just thought in my mind, this lady's had too much to drink. I'm just going to ignore her. And so then when she was in the back and she tells Esteban, Mr. Esteban, she said, Esteban, what the He said, aren't you going to tell her anything? And he says, what do you want me to tell her? She's not doing nothing wrong. She'll get us there. He says, be quiet. She'll get us there. He says, she's doing her job. And she said, what the she was just.
Well, you can tell us. I mean,
she was just going, what the? She said, you're not going to tell her nothing for telling me something? And he's like, but she didn't do nothing wrong to you.
She went full ninja. She went full ninja, bro. She said, who you talking to, you little bitch? What you say to me, you little bitch?
He said, just be quiet, we'll be home in a minute.
Rosemary then goes into a detailed description of Stefan's demeanor during the events, which corresponds with what other witnesses have said about his personality.
The gentleman, Mr. Esteban, he was very calm, very patient, very, passive type of person. He was just like attending to her, helping her. You know what I mean? He never got out of line. He never cursed. He never raised it. He was just very calm, very nice, older gentleman. Then when we get to the house, the meter, it said $6 almost $7. And he said, I don't have cash. And I said, you don't have cash? He said, no, can I pay with the credit card? And I said, you want to pay with the credit card for $7? And he said, is that okay? And I'm like, well, if that's all you got, okay. And then she says, then the lady butts in and she says, why don't you come tomorrow? She said, just come back tomorrow and pick up your money.
Oh.
And she proceeds to tell us, don't worry about the cab fare. Come and get it tomorrow.
I said, ma'am, I'm talking to him. And she said, you. She said, I said, come tomorrow. She was very, how do I say, bossy and pushy. Aggressive. And bossy and pushy. She's like.
Listen, that's the moment, boys, when you get out of the car and you say, it's 2023, I am a woman. Bang, bang, bang. But you gotta remember, you gotta say, I am a woman.
I told you.
Call me man.
She was talking to me like that. She said, I told you to come tomorrow. You get your money. I said, man, we don't do that. I said, I'm taking care of it. And then Esteban told her, he said, be quiet and behave. He said, we'll be out in a minute. He said, just wait.
So we wouldn't, you have to unlock the doors to let the customer out.
Yeah.
We didn't unlock the doors.
And that's when she got nasty with you or with Rosemary, right?
Right. She starts cussing, let me out of this cab. And we told her, ma'am, we can't let you out of the cab until you make arrangements for payment.
Yeah.
That's
understandable.
Yeah, she proceeds to scream and cuss.
She whips out the rifle.
You can say what you want to me, but you ain't going to say a whole lot to my wife.
Yeah.
And I looked at Mr. Esteban. I said, Mr. Esteban, that's it. I'm calling the police. Because she was, to the point where she was too drunk, she was cursing, and she was starting to get mean. And I don't take chances with customers like that.
Inside the complex, Florence McLean is working the desk.
I recall actually, she came in first. I saw the both of them pull up in the taxi.
In the whip.
And she got out of the taxi. She came in first, and she came straight to my counter, and she said, boy, we had a really rough night tonight. This taxi cab driver drove us all around out of the way, and he expects us to pay for it. And she said, I'm trying to tell him he doesn't have to pay for this.
So
Anna was likely still fuming that the cab driver wouldn't follow her personal directions to the hotel.
And then she called out to Stefan. She said, Stefan, come on here,
Where was she when she said that?
She was standing here at the front desk, and then then she said it again, and then she walked to the door, and she said, Stefan, come on, just come on inside. And she was real aggressive with it. And he was out there trying to pay the taxi cab driver. And from in here, he indicated, like, go on in, but I couldn't tell what he was saying. To me, it looked like he was indicating just go on in. And that's when she went back to the door again, and she opened the door and she said, Stefan, come on inside, and then she just walked on and went on and took the elevator up.
And when me and him were in the car, and we were waiting for the authorization, and I told him, I said, Mr. Esteban, I said, what were my exact words? I said, Mr. Esteban, you need to be careful. I said, I don't know the man. I've never seen him or met him, but the way she was acting, I said, Mr. Esteban, I've been around a lot of drunks. And I told Mr. Esteban, you need to be careful. I said, this lady's going to end up getting you in trouble with the police, or something bad's going to happen.
Bro, he went 60 years a fucking simp. Oh. And the symptom got him fucking killed. Oh, dude, everyone told him that she was a fucking problem. Everyone told him. Taxi driver meets him one day, bro, and the woman, and they tell him she's a fucking problem. The concierge, she's a fucking problem. His friends, she's a fucking problem. And he didn't listen. Yeah, you know what, bro? I can't feel bad for him. He's 60-something. He doesn't know how to listen. Bro.
Because of the way she behaves when she's drinking. And when he left, you know, he was free to leave.
If I tell you there's a bear in that cave and you go into the cave, don't cry when you get eaten by the cave, by the fucking bear.
I told him, I said, Mr. Esteban, he said, yeah. I said, please be careful. I said, because, you know, I said, your friend is, he never said girlfriend, wife, or who she was.
No,
he just kept mentioning her as friends.
Okay.
And then I said, please be careful. And I said, because
they were broken up. It's like you asked for it, man. Like,
she's had a lot to drink and she's not in her right mind.
This wasn't the first time that Stefan received a warning to stay away from Anna, but it would be the last. Finally, Anna prepares to explain the events that would ultimately lead to Stefan's untimely demise.
Well, okay, so we go home and everything's good.
If it wasn't
and
her,
then,
it would have been somebody else.
you know, I have my things, you know,
Honestly.
and I was, as a matter of fact, tomorrow I was going to go to Waco to visit my family. And I was going to leave to see my daughter and to see my mom. And so when we got home, I said, okay, I said, well, you know, I said, let me get my things, because tomorrow, you know, I'm going to leave. I said, and let's make plans, because it's Aaron's birthday. It's on the 15th. He changed. He was like, you know, no, what's wrong? No, nothing. And I was like, okay. And so I let it go.
This could, of course, have something to do with the taxi events, which she didn't reveal to investigators.
And then he just kind of started pacing around, you know, and
He didn't change. She's the one who changed.
I went to the restroom, and I came back out,
Bro.
and he was just really serious and had this weird look on his face. And I'm like, okay, what's wrong? You know, he's like,
that's what she had.
You know, I get jealous when you're talking to those guys, and you know, and if you're, you know, I'm sorry. I know I get jealous. I can't help it. I just want to keep it to myself, and they're so beautiful. I know, you know, you can talk to whoever you want, but and he started to get mad, and I'm like, no, Stefan, you know, it was, you were there. We didn't do anything. You know, you saw me, and you know.
Anna represents herself as the calm voice of reason here, which is completely at odds with witness reports.
He started to escalate, right? And then he goes, oh, and then now you're going to leave? You're going to leave a whole week? And I was, yeah, you said it was okay. You're supposed to come, and we're supposed to go look for an apartment. You know, I'm spending this week with my mom, and then, because he has some, he's working with a student, writing a thesis or something. Can I have some more water?
No.
Mid-sentence, Anna stops and requests more water. This demonstrates how emotionally disconnected she is from the situation. This also appears to be a stalling technique so she can think about what she's going to say about how Stefan died.
He started getting jealous. Like, you know, you're going to go with your mom, and, you know, I'm not going to see you. And I was like, it's okay. If you don't want to, I won't go.
At this point, it would make sense for Anna to be mad or upset, and her depiction of herself in this manner is difficult to believe.
He starts to get out of control, and he's yelling, and he's put into a frenzy. And I said, you know what? And just because what happened, you know, I'm already bruised and everything. Believe me, I'm the one that always leaves, because that's the only thing I can do, right? I wanted to leave, and he didn't let me leave. He wouldn't let me leave. Please let me leave. Tonight.
Help me understand, okay? When he wouldn't let you leave.
Sure, bro. He didn't let you leave.
Did he just tell you couldn't leave? Did he stand in front of you and wouldn't let you go to the door? Did he push you away from the door, pull you away? What was this process of not letting you leave?
How was he prohibiting you from leaving?
Oh, yeah. Because the suitcases were right there by the door. He thought I was just going to grab him and leave, right? But to be honest, I don't care. I'm just going to leave, and I don't care what material things.
Right.
But he doesn't like it that I don't care. Because he can't stop me. You see?
This seems like a critical component for her defense, yet Anna doesn't actually answer the detective's questions. This is a deflection and a huge red flag. Furthermore, she contradicts herself by saying that Stefan wouldn't let her leave, then telling detectives he can't stop me when they ask how he was preventing her.
I was crying because he was saying really mean things, right? And then he just started making fun of how, I'm not like your friend. I'm not going to beat you up. I'm not going to hurt you. I would never hurt you. And, and like, just, like degrading me and telling me that I was basically stupid for allowing somebody to hit me.
The way she touches her head and shoulders while explaining this verbal assault are out of sync, which is an indication of deception. This movement is an illustrator which should sync up to natural punctuation points. But Anna's seem to be slightly off. This use of an illustrator may be just for show and an attempt to make the detectives think she's being truthful.
I'm like, please stop. Please stop talking. Please stop. Stop talking. And he wouldn't stop. And his face got red. And he changed. He became infuriated, mad.
She uses exaggerated facial expressions as she claims he got red and infuriated, which makes little sense if she's being as calm and agreeable as she claims. On top of that, she seems to enjoy telling the story and having the attention of the detectives.
And then I started to shake, and I became like, because I saw him, and then he just came in towards me. He goes, "You're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to leave me again, ever." And I'm like, "No." So he grabbed me, and I was like, "No, we started,
Anna deviates from her baseline as she stutters and repeats over her words while trying to explain what happened when he allegedly grabbed her.
Turning, he's a weightlifter. He used to lift weights when he was young.
Oh, so now he's in shape. So now he's strong. But you didn't want to fuck him because he was weak. You lying bitch. Anyways, she was going, no, please don't. Stop attacking me. No. Don't hit me. No. Oh, no. And he was so strong that I just kept, no. What the fuck, bro? We have no clue what's going on. It's a representation of how she said, no, don't hit me. Was going, That was what's up, bro. This was how she grabbed his neck and she goes, no, please don't hit me. Please don't hit me. Please stop hitting me. Oh my God, why did you stop hitting me? He's not, oh my God, he's still hitting me. Yeah, but what's on your fingertips? The blood. No, it's, I fingered your mom. And she was on her period. It is what it is. No, it's hot Cheetos, bro.
So he's very strong.
Now that it's a benefit to her cause, Stefan is strong, a former weightlifter, whereas before she described at length that he was old and sickly.
So when he grabbed you, y'all start like wrestling?
How does he grab me?
Okay.
And I was like,
where in the apartment were you at that point when he grabbed you? Do you remember?
I think we were in the hallway.
This is where Stefan's body was later found.
He started wrestling around, and I got away, and he came after me, and he grabbed me, and he wouldn't let me go, and he started wrestling with me. I was fighting, right?
What the fuck?
And I was begging him to let me go, but I did grab by the hair, and I was trying to get out, you know. And then he wouldn't. He got more on top
my
of me.
roomies gave it to me.
And I couldn't breathe. I was on my face, you know.
Is he sitting on you or laying on you? Or?
Yeah, he's on top. Yeah, he got me, and we, we wrestled because I was trying to get away. So he landed on top of me.
Okay.
And so I remember grabbing him by the hair or his shirt or whatever I could, right, to try to get from underneath him because I was suffocating. I wasn't breathing.
The entire retelling of this story is problematic. She states that she grabbed him, but when acting it out, she reaches her hands over her
Mom, I do eat good food. My roommates just gave me this.
head behind her. She also describes the details with no reference to her feeling scared or fearful. People usually include their own emotions when telling a story like this if it's true. In addition, when a person that has experienced such trauma tells the story for the first time, they rarely recall the story in sequential order as she's doing. They usually jump around a lot.
And so he was hitting me and I couldn't breathe. So the only thing I could do was get this arm, and I don't know if I took my shoe off or I was there. And I was pleased that, and I wasn't in there, so I got the shoe and I started, please, whatever I could. I was trying to grab whatever I could.
How does she bend over and take her shoe off and then hit him with it? See, boys, my representation was very good. She actually grabbed the stiletto and went, please, Stefan, please, Stefan, Stefan. Bro, my representation was fantastic.
I was just, I was hitting him to please get away, right?
Based on how she just described their positioning, it doesn't seem possible that she could grab a shoe that she was wearing.
Bro, she literally can't even grab the shoe from where she's positioned. She can't reach it. Look, she literally can't reach it.
And her reenactment of hitting him in the head with it seems improbable.
She
The
literally can't
reenactment
reach it.
itself is unusual, as most people would feel guilt and shame for their actions and would refrain from reliving it in such a way. Furthermore, crime scene photos indicate that the other shoe was still in place alongside Stefan's in the hallway, as it seems unlikely she would return one shoe there after the confrontation. It seems more probable they were both there on the floor and she grabbed one of them there in the hallway where he died.
And then he lost his balance while I was hitting him, and then I got on top of him, and I was like, stay down, Stefan. But then he grabbed me. He wouldn't let me go.
Dude, this was on the night of the killing, dude. This was the same night. You feel me? Everyone refrain relieving the evidence.
And I was like, let me go. And
This is another questionable part of her story. If she were truly in flight or fight mode and was able to get out from beneath Stefan, she likely would have fled and tried to escape.
Yeah.
And then he, when he would grab me, he was trying to hit me, and I was like, please. I was just, and then he was grabbing me.
Because it doesn't make sense.
And I was just hitting him with the shoe, please stop. And then that's when I was trying to get, and he wouldn't let me, he had me, and I was like, please. And I was like, Stefan. And then that's when I saw the blood, and I was like, Stefan, please, listen, you're bleeding.
It's utterly unbelievable that she would not notice that amount of blood immediately. Anna's jeans were soaked with it.
If I let you go, can you not hurt me? I was afraid if I got off of him, he was gonna, I know he was gonna get up and he was gonna hurt me. So I was having him, and I was like, please, Stefan, and he was growling please. I said, I'm gonna call the ambulance, okay? I said, I'm gonna call help because you're bleeding. And he's like, okay. He still said, okay, and I'm like, okay. And then that's when he said, okay.
Okay, and then he never spoke again?
I moved him and everything, and he was breathing, and then He started going kind of like that, and so I'm like, Stefan, and I don't know,
Her story is beginning to break down here, but she makes special emphasis repetitively that Stefan was breathing.
I didn't know what to do first, to go look for the phone or leave him. So I started doing mouth to mouth, and just because he was like grasping for air.
Given the state the police found Stefan, if she had given mouth-to-mouth to him, she would have had blood all around her mouth area. Yeah. Yet she doesn't.
He was breathing. And I'm like, okay, you're breathing. Okay, and that's when I grabbed him and I was doing the, yes, and then I was breathing and then up and Stefan and everything. And then when he started breathing, I heard his breath, like, okay, good. I said,
also, if she would have been under him, he got hit 26 times or some shit on the head. She would have had a ton of blood on her. Right? Like, she's under him, hitting. Instead of, if she's in front of him, or like behind him, hitting, she might get a couple of splashes. Bro, if she's under him, she's getting everything dropping on her. Like, we've seen MMA fights, right? Whenever a fighter hits one guy in the face and they're standing, they might have 1 or 2 blood splatters. A couple. But when they're underneath, they'll have the whole, like, you don't even know who's bleeding at that point.
Stay awake, and I hit him, like, stay awake, like, please stay awake. And then that's when I went to look for the phone, and that's when I called, and that's it. That's what happened.
And just like that, Anna's narrative comes to a sudden end. When someone is giving a truthful account of an event, there are usually 3 parts: an introduction, main event, and epilogue. However, when the epilogue is very brief, such as Anna's, this can be a red flag for deception. For a long moment, the detectives observe her, and she looks directly at them as though trying to ascertain whether they believe her story or not. It seems pretty clear that they do not. Anna's story seems to be the only source investigators have about what happened once Stefan arrived in his apartment complex, as there were no other witnesses. Or were there?
Sometime early that morning of June the 9th,
She saw from the fucking... She's a peeping Tom. She's a peeping Tom, bro. She was watching. She was watching. Holy shit.
You were asleep in your apartment and you heard a noise. Is that correct?
Yes.
Describe that noise that you heard.
So it was a noise loud enough to wake me. I'm not sure exactly what the noise was that woke me, but after I was awake, it was a noise that indicated a large object was being knocked against the wall or against...
She has the typical behaviors of a fucking schizo. She changed her stories a couple of times. She painted herself as the victim everywhere, and she would get rescued by the men, but also she didn't want to bang them, but also she ended up banging them. But also, he was really weak, but also he was strong because he used to, lift weights when he was young. She's a fucking schizo. And also, oh my god, she was a saint, but also his friends are like, yeah, we say, bro, we told Stefan, we can't hang out with you, bro. This bitch bites people. The taxi driver says, hey, this bitch, she's gonna get you in trouble on the first night of meeting her. But oh no, she's completely normal. The concierge says, yeah, that woman, hey, Stefan, that woman cut off the back part of the fridge, the pipes. Bro, she's gonna escalate. She's gonna do some stupid shit. He didn't listen. Dude, she has the fucking... She honestly seems like she has borderline personality.
Against the floor, because I felt the wall vibrate at one point. I don't know what the object was. And I also heard door slam.
Okay. Could you tell which direction it was coming from?
Yes, I could tell. Initially, I wasn't aware because I was still sleepy.
Okay.
But once I woken up, I was aware it was coming from behind me, which is the apartment that we're speaking of.
Mr. Anderson's
yes.
apartment? Okay.
Yes.
Oh my god.
This could be a reference to Anna going into the bathroom and closing the door behind her. However, the loud slam would seem to indicate that she wasn't as calm as she made herself out to be.
And then he just kind of started pacing around. I went to the restroom, and I came back out, and he was just really serious and had this weird look on his face. And I'm like, okay, what's wrong?
Did you hear anybody yelling, screaming?
I heard a man yelling.
You heard a man?
I didn't hear screams, but I did hear a yell. It was a very loud yell, like as if he was yelling at someone else or something else.
Okay.
And I heard a door slam, and then I heard some muffled yelling at that point, and a few more noises, and then it got quiet. Yeah.
Do you remember about what time it was that you were woken up?
I know exactly. It was 2:13 because I
Okay.
don't like being woken up in the mornings, very early in the morning. So I typically, the first response is to look at the clock. And I remember 2:13 a.m. exactly.
So from what you have stated, that 2:13 is when you heard the loud bump
2:13 is,
approaching?
is when I first woke up.
Okay.
This is interesting. Carly seems very certain of the time, stating that the argument between the two took place at 2:13 a.m. The 911 call came in at 3:41 a.m. Even if she was off by an hour and it was actually 3:13, there's still a long gap between when the incident began and when Anna made the 911 call. Reports from the crime scene indicated that a bar stool was moved toward the body, disturbing the blood on the carpet. This is just speculation, but could Anna have sat on this stool watching Stefan die? Perhaps she was contemplating what story she would tell the police before she called 911. The explanation remains a mystery, but it seems unlikely that Anna rushed to his aid as she claimed, and that she was unaware that he was deceased when she entered the interrogation room.
How long did this yelling or this noise go on for?
Only for a few minutes. It wasn't very long at all.
Okay. Few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, 5
2
to
to
7
3.
minutes?
2 to 3.
Oh, 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, then it got real quiet.
Yes, it got very quiet. It was like very quiet after that.
Okay.
A few minutes and then silence. At that point, had the atrocious act already been committed, or was it yet to come? If it took place later, one would think that Carly would hear such a violent struggle, especially as Anna depicted the scene. If it did take place while she was awake, why would she not have heard either of them scream? Carly mentioned that the muffled voice she heard was a man. Perhaps Stefan was, in fact, the one who went into the bathroom. Did Anna perhaps catch him in a surprise attack when he came out before he had time to scream? Anna is the only one who can tell for sure, and her side of the story is now told. The detectives depart, leaving Anna alone in the room for over a half hour, during which
I think he went into the bathroom, angry, might have slammed the door, or he might have come out. If the bathroom door opens not towards the bathroom but towards the room, the other room, so if it opens this way, it's possible that the slam was because she hit him, and the yell was because he screamed like, ah, right? So he might have gone into the bathroom, she grabbed the fucking thing, ambushes him when he comes back, hits him, he falls onto the door slams, or she like slams him onto the door and just keeps hitting him, and he only gets like 1 or 2 screams in before she kills him. Holy fuck. That would make sense, right? In that way, he didn't even slam the door.
she remains mostly motionless, her hands resting in her lap, a somber look on her face. Based upon the evidence and blood spatter at the scene, officials suggested that the fatal argument had begun in the living room, not the hallway. Crime scene evidence showed that recently the sofa and the coffee table had both been moved, possibly during a struggle. While in this vicinity, they proposed that Anna had begun the assault, ripping chunks of hair from Stefan's head, which accounts for the tufts of hair on the couch and floor that were unsullied by blood. From there, Stefan likely backpedaled to the hallway, where she may have then taken up the shoe from its place near the wall and begun to strike him with it. Injuries to Stefan's arms and hands were likely defensive wounds as he tried to fend her off. Taking several solid blows, officials deduced that Stefan fell and Anna followed him down, straddling him and continuing the assault. Evidence showed that the vast majority of injuries occurred while he was prone. By the time the detectives re-enter the room,
Yeah, because if the blood splatter is like really close to the ground, yeah, it has to be prone. But then also, if he was on top of her, it would also be with him prone. So.
Anna has fallen into a slump with her arms crossed tight under her chest, both hands hidden from view with her head down. This is a very passive and protective stance. It's likely at this point she has realized that she didn't win anyone over and can expect to be charged. When they leave, a crew arrives and has her remove the cover-up so they can take photographs. Anna is then asked to remove the pants as part of the evidence collection process. Notice that she seems to have no qualms about interacting with the bloody clothing now, which she previously claimed made her sick. She even checks all the pockets and neatly folds them before handing them over. Finally, an officer turns to cuff her, and they lead her away to be charged with Stefan's murder and arrested. As Anna's defense team prepared their self-defense case for trial, the media got wind of the unusual murder weapon and became intrigued. The case blew up and the press dubbed Anna the Stiletto Killer. The prosecution showed torrid images of the crime scene, indicating that Anna's actions went far beyond what would be necessary for self-defense. Her defense team put Anna on the stand, where she began a 6-hour testimony, rehashing the story she told investigators. Much like the interview itself, she constantly digressed, and her lawyer, who had beseeched her to keep her story short and simple, had to continually steer her back on topic. After less than 2 hours deliberation,
Bro, her lawyers did her dirty. Why would her fucking defense team put her up on the thing if she's a schizo? Bro, they did her dirty. They played her.
the jury found Anna guilty of murder, and she was handed the maximum punishment, life in prison. She will not be eligible for parole until she is 75 years old.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Dude, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? There's been cases where they kill like two children or like 2 younger girls, and the women get 15 years with the possibility, or they get 20 years with the possibility of parole after 15 or 10. And I'm always like, how does a human life only cost 10 years? I don't understand. I don't understand. If you kill a 16-year-old, bro, you just took like 70 years away from them. You just robbed a whole life. You should get 70 years. And they should try to keep you alive for as long as possible and torture your ass so you can suffer the 70 years. You ain't leaving this earth, bro, before you pay that price. Sorry. You ain't leaving, bro. I'ma inject you full of steroids or whatever the fuck I have to inject you for. You ain't leaving, bro. I'm gonna put you at the bottom of the fucking jail too. Yeah. Yeah.